Joining us now on the B4 Alternative on Party 93.4, we have Kim Coates from Sons of Anarchy joining us on the show. Welcome, Kim, to the show.
Thanks for having me, boys.
We've got the new season of Sons of Anarchy going on right now, and actually, as we're recording this, later on tonight, you got the special 90-minute episode of Sons on FX.
We do. Kurt Sutter, the creator of the show, I think once or twice, sometimes even 3 times a year of the 13 shows, it's an hour and a half. There's a lot of stuff going down, so we need that hour and a half to get it all in.
Right, okay, so this is not the season finale then?
No, not at all. This is like we're halfway through now. I think this is the 8th show of 13. I mean, cable's always pretty set at 13 shows every season. So we had an hour and a half for the very first one, and I know the last one's going to be an hour and a half, and this one here, I hear is 90 minutes as well.
Now, do you really hate dolls as much as Tig does?
Absolutely. You know, boys, that's the thing, right? I mean, with television, unlike movies, which I've been lucky enough to do a lot of, you read the script. You start at 1 and you finish on 110. There it is. There's the script. You figure it out. You fly by the seat of your pants, not afraid to fail, whatever, and that's it. But in a television show, I mean, obviously I had no idea when I signed on. I mean, Tig's got a lot of issues. He's got a lot of issues, right?
Yeah.
There's no doubt. But one of them being afraid of dolls, it's like you don't know that's going to happen until you actually read it. And when you read it, you go, dude, really? What? I might have played something a little different had I known that. So, I don't have a lot of dolls in my... I do have a puppet, though, hanging up from Australia that I got from Eric Bana. But no, I don't have any dolls in my back down here talking to you guys.
Now, that puppet you got from Eric Bana, is it the Incredible Hulk?
No, it's not. We didn't have too many of those going around back then. we did Black Hawk Down together, and I was doing a thing in New Zealand a few years ago, and I went and visited Eric and his beautiful wife Rebecca and kids in Australia, and we went shopping, and there was this incredible puppet that looked like him, really. So I bought it, and it's hanging up in my room. I throw darts at it. Perfect.
Now, you had mentioned your movie career as well as television. Do you have a preference to work in TV or movies, or is it just two different animals?
You know, I don't know. I think you guys probably know this even better than me. I had no idea about the power of television when it's good, right? Like when it's really good.
Oh, yeah.
And now, especially some of these shows on cable, in my opinion, they're just so well written. They're like little movies, and I'm so lucky to be on Sons of Anarchy. This is my first regular job on a TV gig. I never really thought about it that much before. I've done arcs before. You know, I've done 4 or 5 shows before on a certain television show, but I've never been a regular, and I'm so glad that it's this one. So, do I have a preference? Not really. I love to work, and I just always want to work with good people and hopefully do good work along the way.
Landing the gig for Sons of Anarchy, did that have anything to do with when you portrayed a biker in Miami Vice?
No way, dude. Look at you throwing around the past. I did that in 1961, I think. Come on. Do you remember what the title was in that? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. It was, I actually just watched it today, actually, because I was reading through your list of movies, and I was like, oh, really? He's in that? I went to go find you in it. It was,
I think it was called Viking Bikers from Hell.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Do you remember? I mean, oh my God, Eric, that's so funny. No, not at all. In fact, I keep that a secret, but that was my very first American television show. I was on Broadway at the time, and I got my SAG card through Miami Vice, man. What a crazy memory. I didn't have to ride a bike in that, though, but I certainly got smacked around by Don Johnson.
Right, yeah, I saw the barroom brawl. Now, that seems to kind of be like a little niche of yours. Is that what you're used to doing in TV shows? You seem to do a lot of those.
This is a true story. My daughter Brenna can attest to this. I have 2 daughters, but she's the youngest. I have a list, and beside the list is my character I play and the movie or television show, and then beside it goes L or D. L means I lived, and D means I died. And there's a lot more D's on that list than L, so there you go.
Now, you talk about riding. Did you ride motorcycles before being on Sons of Anarchy, or no?
I did. Yeah, I did. Mark Boone Jr. and myself were the only 2 real riders when this whole thing started. And Charlie plays Jax. He got real good real fast. And all the boys learned to ride once the show started, getting its wind and whatnot. But Mark Boone and I, we were the only 2 that have been riding. I've been riding my whole life.
That is super surprising, because I always pictured Ron Perlman riding a bike everywhere.
A face only a mother could love. Seriously. You look at him, mean, he just reeks of biker, right? And Ron will say this himself. He's just such a good buddy of mine. I think he's just such a phenomenal actor. I really mean that. It's just one of the best I've ever worked with. He hates bikes. He just doesn't feel comfortable with bikes, really. And he's getting better all the time, and he's not one to shy away from anything. But, you know, do you guys ride? Do you two ride?
I don't.
No, I don't either.
Okay, and so, but you know, when you're beside a Harley, it's not like a 250 Kawasaki. They're heavy, they're loud, they're fast, they're grumpy, they're agitated, and you have to be very, very willing to fly with them, or otherwise, you know, trouble can ensue. So, Ronnie's the one guy who really, he's there, man. He's our president. We'll live and die with him. But yeah, riding a bike has not come to him as easily as he wanted it to.
Now, I just want to mention, too, you are in my favorite video game movie of all time, Silent Hill. I absolutely love that film.
Oh, good. It was crazy, right? I mean, just crazy. Just some of the CGI stuff that Christophe Gans did, the director from France. Sean Bean and I were in a different movie than the girls, if you remember. The girls were in absolute freaky part of that whole thing, and Sean and I just sort of walked through that, you know, smoked out, burnt out part of town and never really found the other side of the spectrum. But it was freaky. There was some freaky stuff going on in that movie. We had a lot of fun doing that.
Standalone, even by itself, it's a great movie. It's just even better that since there's not a whole lot of video game movies that are done well, that was just excellent.
Yeah, thanks. And, you know, there was going to be a second one right away. It was number one, you know, on the box office for 2 weeks there. It did really well around the world, much like Resident Evil did. I starred in that one as well, the latest one. But I'm telling you, I don't know why they haven't made a second one yet. It's kind of mysterious to me.
Now, funny story, too. I actually invented a drinking game to Silent Hill.
Did you?
It plays just like Jaws when they say shark, you have to drink. In Silent, if you go back and watch the movie, the Silent Hill is said or in print about 80, 90 times in the movie.
Sure.
So yeah, you definitely just watch it, drink every time they say Silent Hill.
That's hysterical.
You'll be good and roasted by the end of the movie.
Hey, wasn't there something
remember that next time I watch it.
Oh yeah, and you have to finish your drink on the big kill with Pyramid Head rips off the skin, and the other one at the end.
And then there was something with the sirens too, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, and you have to chug during the sirens.
You have to chug during every siren. Wow, I should mention that to Kyla, my oldest at UCLA. She'd probably enjoy that.
Oh, it's a brutal game.
I'm sure it is.
Now, you also have a new movie coming out next year called Sacrifice. What's that about? What is your role in the movie?
Yeah, we just finished it actually about 6 weeks ago. Christian Slater, Cuba Gooding Jr., and myself. It's my co-partner up in Toronto. I've produced a couple movies with him. Damian Lee, good guy, great guy, and it's a very, very hardcore drama. Cuba Gooding plays this cop who loses his wife and his daughter very mysteriously, and it haunts him always. And Christian Slater plays his priest, and I play the lead bad guy, of course. And it's got some religious undertones, and it's a you know, really well shot. We shot it up in Canada on a shoestring budget, but it looks great. I just haven't seen the finished version yet, but I've seen a lot of it so far. It should be coming out in February.
Now, on Sons of Anarchy, you guys tend to smoke cigars. What is your favorite cigar?
Yeah, I don't smoke cigars. Ronnie does. Ron Perlman's a big cigar smoker. In fact, none of us touch cigars because that's sort of his deal. You gotta ask Ronnie what he smokes, because he's a big cigar smoker. You know, he kind of smokes and then doesn't smoke. Of course, it's all fake pot once in a while. And rollies, you know, takes a big rolly guy if and when he does smoke. But yeah, I mean, that's one thing you can do on cable, right? I mean, there's a lot of smoking, there's some swearing, there's a little bit of TNA, and brings a reality to that show that I think is really obviously important to do.
I'd say there's more than just a little bit of TNA on Sons of Anarchy.
More than a little bit of TNA? Yeah. I scared the crap out of all my female viewers out there, and my buddies, when I showed my ass a couple of weeks ago. It was very horrifying. They'll never get over it.
No, I hate to drag you back to the past again, but I'm just curious how you got your role in the movie Waterworld.
Waterworld was a long time ago, and in fact, I got to tell you boys that really, of all the movies I've done, I still think I'd probably get recognized more for that one than Black Hawk, than Pearl Harbor, than Resident Evil, Open Range. Honestly, I get Waterworld all the time. I got the part by auditioning. Kevin Costner saw my tape. They were right in the middle of shooting over in Hawaii. They were ready to pull the plug at at any minute because they were going overboard with finances so early in that movie. And I just got cast as this drifter, and literally I started losing a lot of weight, and I really thought that this guy was like a homeless person out on the water, but he was a survivor, so he should still be a little bit strong, but absolutely crazy. And I made up this bogus sort of English-Irish accent, and I based some of it on Tony Scott, who I just worked with on The Last Boy Scout. And God, I had fun in that film. I mean, I did my entire performance in 2.5 days, I think. I mean, it's one of the longest scenes in Hollywood. It's like 12 minutes long, that scene. When they discover me out in the water, then I get on the boat and then try and sleep with Jeannie Triplehorn, and that doesn't go so well. And someone's got to die. Of course, it's me, not Kevin. I think the movie would have been a little kind of different had I actually killed Kevin, and it would have been me and the girls in the boat. I don't know what would have happened, but it would have been...
It would have been a lot weirder and a lot shorter.
Right. So, but I got it from... Yeah, I auditioned for that part, and I got it, you bet. And Kevin's a buddy now. We've done a couple movies together, and got another one planned down the pike here. Hopefully it'll happen in the next year, and I love him to death.
Do you enjoy working on big budget flicks more, or more indie low budget?
Well, I have to say honestly that some of the low budgeted movies I'm the lead in, and so it's kind of nice to be involved from the beginning to the end. And I think my time hopefully is still coming for these big budgeted films that, I'm going to be that guy who's discovered overnight after doing, 50 movies, and I finally get to lead in some big ass, $100 million film. I really believe that's coming. And I don't have a favorite, you guys, really. It's all about the work with me. It's all about the part. And sometimes I've got 2 or 3 scenes in a big movie that were very satisfying to do, and yet being on a little one, it seems I'm involved right from the beginning, right to the end, and I get to be in the editing room and co-produce, and I really enjoy that a lot.
You know what you would fit perfect in?
Oh.
They're currently working on a reboot for the Spider-Man series. Now, I don't know if they're going to put Kraven the Hunter in it, but you would be perfect playing the part of Kraven the Hunter in the Spider-Man movie.
I'm going to call my people as soon as I get off. 10% if it goes my way, bet. 10% is coming your way if it goes my way.
That's awesome. Now, do you still live in Canada?
No, I have a place up there. My wife and I and my 2 girls, we have a cabin in the Shoe Swap in British Columbia, and I still have an office up in Toronto. But we're down here. We've been down here since 1995, and both my girls have gone to school down here full time, and try and switch it up. I'm an American now too. I'm both, which is I'm very proud of, as are my family, and we go up there as much as we can. But no, we're down here a lot, and I think my wife loves it that I'm on this series, boys, because I'm home. I'm really home for that 5 months, and I really don't go anywhere, and it's good. It's a good thing.
Because I was going to ask you where the Hollywood of Canada was.
I never leave my cage. I never leave my cage. I'll leave my cage when, my buddy Matt Craven or Billy Fichtner or Eric Bana, they have openings, premieres, or my premieres. I'll go to Hollywood. Other than that, honestly, I'm too busy. I am just so freaking busy with the family life and the filming life and the producing life that I have no idea where Hollywood, Canada Hollywood is. I have no clue.
Well, we're glad you were able to take the time to talk to us.
Anytime, guys. Anytime.
We have one final question for you. It's how we end all our interviews. It's if you were stranded on an island with just a monkey, a barrel, and a hammer, what would you do?
I would somehow invent a game like golf, where I would take that hammer and smack that monkey around, and I'd rip the top of that barrel off, and it would be called Monkey in the Barrel. Monkey in the Barrel, babe. I mean, I gotta have some sport or something, or like a drinking game like you guys have for Silent Hill. I'd have to have something with that monkey where he's gonna be flying by the seat of his pants in the barrel, and then I get to drink some of that juice in that barrel. That's barrel.
That's awesome.
Nice. You're the best, guys. Hey, this is Kim Coates from Sons of Anarchy for B4 Alternative. I hope you guys are listening. It's a lot of fun. And stay healthy. Keep drinking.